it's about that time, the most exciting moment for me on the morning drift, 7:14 a.m. It is good morning to you and yours. Welcome, you are watching Look Up TV, and it is one of those days that as a woman I am entirely, completely and confidently proud of. Happy International Women's Day to me and to you and your fellow sisters and moms and female co-workers, etc. In that same spirit, as I said earlier on, Arrive Alive will be graced by the amazing, majestic women on their motorbikes, on their bikes. They'll be outside shortly pulling a few stunts before they come in and talk about the issues on road safety and being a woman in the motorcycle field. Remember, the theme for this particular year is breaking the bias. As we are speaking, I'd love to appreciate you watching from wherever part of the country you are or in the world, and I would love to hear your sentiments. Number one, on your sentiments on the assault that we've been talking about by border riders on a female motorist, and I'm seeing a lot of people have now come in to condemn this particular act. But for how long will we talk about bikers? Well, not bikers per se, but border riders and the menace. It is a question, and of course, as you can see, Arrive Alive is graced by the amazing women breaking the bias in the motorcycle field, motorcycle industry. And Wamuyu Karaoke, good morning. Mamanduthi, you are known for that. Jeru, of course, Matthews, for making sure those bikes are in check. And as they're preparing to, of course, come in with the energy that they have out there, send in your comments on Facebook at Lookup TV, hashtag The Morning Drift on Twitter. Remember to tag at Doris Anki and at Lookup TV. Ladies, I cannot wait to have that conversation with you. But now let's also come back and take a look at what's going on the roads. Remember, we have our eyes on the roads for you. If you're trying to beat traffic, you're trying to catch up with a meeting, or a breakfast occasion or meeting, an interview, we're here to let you know what's going on the roads. But in regards to the now trending matter on road safety, I'll just read what, other authorities have come, to talk about. And of course, remember, the arrests have already been made, which is a good step. But most of the times, Kenyan ask, what next after the arrest? Because these things come into play every single day, every single year. Will we have a different, result this time is a question that needs to be answered. At Mathri Roots, good morning. Thank you very much for keeping us posted. Road alerts KE, Kenyan traffic, Kenyan law, road safety and safe driving practices. Good morning, sir, Mr. Worotet. Good morning, Mercedes-Benz Warriors. Thank you very much for also being very vocal about road safety and putting philanthropy in it. Blessed Dan, we can't wait to hear your story also on Arrive Alive very soon, having to share the story of why we actually have to make sure that we are safe and aware on the roads. Not forgetting one, James Kinywa has always been a loyal fan of the segment. And of course, NTSA has released this, of course, press release yesterday, and I love how prompt that was. And they have a statement on the assault of the female motorists. I will read that to you, but remember to catch that on their pages and on the handles at Mathri Roots, at Road Safety, and different other handles, including Sikika Safety as well. And they say, as investigations continue into the assault of a female motorist on Friday, 4th March 2022, the authority condemns the actions of the perpetrators of the heinous act and calls upon all border riders, associations and stakeholders to support the government's efforts at restoring law and order in the subsector. We shall provide all the necessary support to the enforcement agencies, and the authority further objects any form of harassment and gender-based violence within the public transport sector. I'll read that last part again. The authority further objects any form of harassment and gender-based violence within the public transport sector. Remember, the theme of this year's International Women's Day is breaking the bias. Thank you very much for, of course, that response from NTSA in regards to the now trending issue. And of course, I can see different people responding to that. At Navigator Henry's does not appreciate it, and of course tweeting back at them saying, where are you when borders are carrying 4 passengers at Thika Road outer lane at high speeds with no safety gears? Of course, now Kenyans are challenging the authority again, saying, We don't need you to send in the press. We need you to respond to questions. Where are you when borders are carrying 4 pillions, for that matter, at Thika Road Outer Lane at a high speed with no appropriate gears? These are some of the questions that now Kenyans are asking. Don't worry, we'll be looking at the roads. I'm seeing Limuru Road has a bit of traffic. We're going to come back to that. And of course, at Okioma, Omari is also challenging the CS, Interior CS, saying at Fred Matiang'i, if possible, all these borders should be in circles, just like matatus, all right? So we're seeing recommendations as well. I'm liking the positivity and the hope that we can come up with solutions, all right? And of course, at Okiama Omari, if you agree with him, also let me know at Lookup TV on Facebook. We are live, and also on Twitter, hashtag The Morning Drift. Kenyans are a bit agitated, or rather are officially agitated, on the incident that has been airing. As we continue to discuss about this, let's also take a look at roads that you're planning to use. And of course, at Mark Murunga 1, thank you very much for your tweet via Atma 3 Road, saying Limuru Road at 6:39 a.m. there was no serious traffic jam. The vehicles were moving well. That was about, a few minutes ago, say an hour or so. And he's saying Limuru Road, no serious traffic jam, vehicles moving well. Well, that's good. For the hour, has it changed since you actually posted this at Mark Murunga? Let me know. Thank you for tweeting via Atma 3 Roads. Let's see, Thika Road, just a second, pardon me for that. Thika Road traffic slowly moving at Muthaiga, Kamishikana service lane. That is at Cyclone Kenya 1, also updating us on what's going on Thika Road as we're speaking. That was about also 20 or so minutes ago. And Thika Road traffic, good thing is that it's slowly moving at Muthaiga, but Kamishikana service lane. All right. Let's see real quick any other roads that before I go back to the border issue. Let's see. Is there anything else about Thika Road? Real quick, let's just take a look at that. Most of you are pretty much talking about the, the incident that happened on the 4th March. But I can see here, great news at Erico 45 is pretty much saying the same thing, but I don't know why they're tagging at Mwalimu Churchill. Good morning, Mwalimu Churchill. Yeah, why are you trending this morning? And of course, Anasema, I'm on Thika Road and Mambo Ninyue all the way Hadi Muthaiga. So Thika Road looks pretty much fun to be on this morning until you get to Muthaiga, which it seems to be moving slowly. So if you're using that road or planning to use it, that was just, I think, 10 or 15 minutes ago. Seemingly, there's a bit of traffic there. The question is it getting worse or is it getting better? How is the flow on Thika Road around Muthaiga? I'd really love to know that. Well, a lot of people now here are talking about what's going on. There's an article here that you might want to get on Atma 3 Roads because it's all about road safety. And now the country is talking about, road safety and the incident that has occurred on being assaulted as a woman motorist just because she probably, hit one of the border riders. It's not very clear yet. However, people are saying, is it a justification to do what has been done? Now, the crackdown nets 32 people, 12 motorbikes over Forest Road, female motorist assault. So far, we're seeing a bit of action being taken. Remember, now women feel like this is our problem. It is our problem because we are celebrating women today. But the question is, are we safe on the roads as women? Are we breaking the bias enough? All right. Now, people are still talking about it. Allow me to read this because it's taking more center stage. Of course, you've seen that Limuru Road has traffic. Thika Road looks pretty good until you get to Muthaiga. I'm still waiting on your updates at Lookup TV, Atma 3 Roads, hashtag The Morning Drift. Now, Janet 24 Shafa, I hope I pronounced that correctly. She says borders in CBD should be banned off completely. It's a mess. Someone is prone to getting knocked off anytime. All right. Now, we've had this conversation a lot of times with border riders as well. I do not know if then we should now agree that they are banned because a common mwananchi is going to use that as the fastest and cheapest way to commute. Can we find a solution? Borders in CBD again, Janet 24 Shafa insisting they need to be banned. Take them off the CBD. To where? All right? To where? Because at the grassroots, the same behavior. People would ask, so Instead of banning them from the CBD, should we change some culture, some behavior? What is the authority doing about it? Okay. At Kui Muraya, also sharing his same sentiments. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like this is all I'm seeing at Matri Roots today. All right. And via Matri Roots, he says, or she says, the government seems to have abdicated its role as a gatekeeper and allowed this border sector to remain unregulated too long, resulting to these hooliganisms. Statement from KNCHR. Thank you very much for sharing that as well. A lot of finger pointing, I must say, is happening this morning on, of course, at Matri Roots and on social media. At Bu Hasho J, as I wrap up, take a break and come back with the ladies on set. He says at NPSO official _ KE and at DCI, and where were the police who are supposed to protect innocent citizens of this nation? He puts an exclamation there, Allah. Ama, they were busy collecting money somewhere else. You know, sometimes if you asked me, I would have chosen not to read these tweets. But it's very, very important that we have to sit together and reason together so that we actually see where the country is headed. Road safety is a human right. All right, she's in her car, an accident happens, an assault happens, and Kenyans are now taking to this particular issue via at Matri Roots. Again, what I'm seeing much happening here is, of course, people talking about the assaults and less of traffic. But if you're watching from Bungoma, Kakamega, Kisumu, Nakuru, Mombasa, there's an infrastructure happening, coming up, let us know what we're trained. How are you this morning? All right, we're not exempting you from the discussion. As much as today people are hardly talking about the traffic, but are talking about the incident, I'd love to know about your respective counties as well. At Sensi Locus, thank you. Still sharing, your opinions and sentiments on the attack. Whoever recorded this, thank you. You tried, even with poor camera, always record incidents on road and, if possible, faces. Arm yourself with a dash camera. After the camera, what next? We like that this was recorded. We're still looking at what next, okay? Kenyans are asking, what next? How many years have we had this conversation? What next, all right? I'd love to hear from you. And of course, Soja, Kaisa, Anthony saying, my unpopular opinion. The person who recorded looks like he was interested more in the lady's reaction and struggles as opposed to capturing perpetrators' faces. Hopefully, it was not one of them. That's another thing, all right? Now, today it's all about conversations about road safety. Have you thought of that? Surely it is an unpopular, of course, opinion. Thank you very much, Soja Kaise, for that. Mr. Lofty says, you might be right, but could now use it as evidence to attempted rape and get them locked up for life. I agree that we should focus on the faces of the perpetrators. What is your unpopular opinion? As we celebrate women today, we are also looking at how do we break the bias. And today the women on their bikes are here to talk to me about what kind of bias they face as, bikers, female bikers on these particular roads, in this particular industry, or are we celebrating improvement and progress in that same sector? I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget that it's still important for you to let me know if there's any accident that's happening in Homa Bay, or has happened, or is a truck that needs to be, towed. Something is happening on the road right now. Talk to me at Matri Roots, at Lookup TV, at Road Alerts KE, at Doris Anki, hashtag The Morning Drift. Let's have real conversations for real people and geared for real change. We're just beginning the Arrive Alive segment. Don't forget to not miss this discussion on the Arrive Alive shortly after the break. Strength of a woman Yeah? How many people are listening to that song today? Strength of a woman. Good morning. You are watching hashtag The Morning Drift. Welcome to your favorite breakfast show. My energy is already all up there. It's lit in here because I have the women bikers, the female bikers, breaking the bias, literally, today on the International Women's Day. Karibuni sana. You guys are good on those bikes.
Are we?
We saw you all, and I was thinking, when am I starting?
You should join us.
I should.
Yes.
Wamuyu said that, wait, I said that to Wamuyu is it last year? I guess I'm not serious enough.
You're not serious. No, you need to get onto that bike.
I should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have you guys.
Thank you.
I'll start from Leslie. Please introduce yourself, the camera right there, and,
All right.
start us off.
Hi, I'm Leslie Gaku. I started biking in 2020. And yeah, it's been good. Awesome. Fun.
Awesome. And you, Pam, please.
Right. My name is Pam. I started biking also the same year as Leslie, 2020. And I've been quite serious about biking. Yeah, and it's been fun. Gone to very many places. So yeah, it's been real.
It's been real.
Yeah.
And ladies, we are here to just hear your journey. Because what we wrote here as our topic was breaking the bias in the motorcycle, field. And I can see that Thomas Ogendo is watching you from Umoja. I'm loving the conversation. Mr. Worotat is here saying, watching as always from Embakasi. And my name is, of course, Anki Doris Ambat and Mr. Worotat. Edgar Handsome Nyahuru saying Nyahuru tuned. So these are all the people who are waiting to hear where this conversation heads. And of course, Wamuyu Karaoke saying, good morning. Happy International Women's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yes. And of course, I can see here, Joyce Kimari loves to watch, especially from South Africa, and she says, good morning. What is there for us to celebrate as women after watching what happened to a fellow woman motorist like me? Border men should be ashamed of themselves. That was a sister, your cousin, your friend, and above all, God's creation. I'm just hoping no innocent border guy was arrested. Where are the authorities? This is beyond comprehension. Perhaps we can start from there.
Right.
What are your remarks and your sentiments on this particular incident as we begin? And she's saying, what's there to celebrate on this International Women's Day?
It's really difficult, actually, that conversation. We were just discussing about it yesterday in the Lady Bikers group, and it's quite appalling. The positive side is that at least the authorities are working on, arresting those who are involved in this incident. But still, this is something that needs to go out to, the whole country. That this does not just involve the border sector. It involves the whole country. Both gender. We need to ask ourselves, how do we improve the safety, on the road? It has to involve, the authorities, the whole border sector, the whole private motorbike sector, the whole, the leaders of our country, because we have left the border sector to the dogs. Like, the laws have gone to the dogs, unfortunately. We need to be serious about this. And as women, it really struck us. It's quite painful, just to see a fellow lady being attacked in public helplessly by 16, men.
Or more.
Or
like
more.
A really big crowd.
And it's like, they just don't care. We even thought about ourselves. We asked ourselves as ladies, does it mean that it can also happen to us as well? Does it mean that when I'm riding on the road, and I hit somebody accidentally, then that is what is going to happen to us? So we've actually, it has taken us back. Because here we are campaigning for road safety as ladies. Yes. And then we hear this. So we are at a loss. We ask ourselves, so then what next?
All right. Yeah, what next? And I like when you mentioned the fear of, what if I'm the next one?
Yeah,
and I don't know what you feel about the same.
Bit speechless at the moment. Shocked.
Yeah, shocked.
So yeah, I'm still processing it.
And it got me thinking, do we ever have female border riders? I got myself thinking, is it because it is not conducive? Is it because they're not accommodative to have the women border riders? Did anyone ever think of that? Because majority have been men?
Yes, we have female border riders.
Okay.
But as we said, I mean, the border sector doesn't seem to have a strong rules and regulations that they are following. If they do, then maybe they're just unruly people out there who just don't seem to care. And that's why I was saying the law enforcement has to come in strongly, plus the leaders, you know, all those who are involved in ensuring that the laws are in place. Yeah, because this is serious. And as women, yes, it is the International Women's Day.
Yes.
But as our fellow lady from South Africa said, what is there to celebrate? When you hear this, it is, as Leslie said, we are still in shock. You're still in shock.
Yeah. And I'd love to just pass this back to the viewer. Have you met a border rider who's a woman? How many times have you encountered a female border rider? How was your experience? What do you think of this particular situation? What would you want us to talk about, to change, and to put across the rest of the public and the authorities who are watching? Because I'm sure that, of course, the NTSA is following closely and are tweeting at Look Up TV. And now you being in, the Riders Association, you actually called Sister Inc. Inc. Sisterhood. Yes. Tell me more about this Inc. Sisterhood. And of course, we'll talk about your helmet, which has this ponytail on it. You want to tell us more, Leslie?
Yeah, sure. Inc. Sisterhood is a lady bikers group, it was started in 2017. And so far, it's garnered a lot of women for different types of reasons. Not only biking, but, a sense of community and stuff. And yeah.
So it's a whole sisterhood.
Yeah.
And you do know that today women are taking to the streets in protests?
Yes.
We have a few stops, which I will also, of course, share with you.
We're going to join them at some point.
You're joining the protest. So we'll be talking about the protest as well, and the objectives, and the reasons why they're taking to streets. Of course, it's after the incident, and we'd love to know what stops are there, for what reasons. Do you also agree with the women, who are taking to the streets this morning? When we talk about you in your gears, and now the stigmatization, if there's been any, in the motorcycle, field, I'd love to hear about it, because some of us assume that all these things are dead and gone. But after the assault, it caused a bit of more concern.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That's a very good question, actually. There's this bias that the motorbike riders are men. So most of the time, when you're encountered even by the security guard, it's like, hey, hi, boss. And you're thinking, okay, stop. I am a lady. You have to literally remove your helmet. Yeah. Sometimes they frisk you, assuming that you are a man, and you have to stop them. And there are other people who also look at lady bikers as rebels,
Oh, okay.
And we're just normal human beings, just minding our own business and enjoying the freedom of not getting caught in traffic. But, riding to wherever we feel like riding to. So if it's to work, or if it's to, for adventure, and so on and so forth. So it's also that freedom that we enjoy. Of course, there are many other biases. Like some people would say that as a lady, you can't get married because you're a lady biker. And you're like, okay, how is that related to marriage or relationships? Maybe Leslie can add.
Yeah, maybe we need to hear from Leslie, because first, the fact that you guys look like rebels, I'm not sure how that comes in. And the fact that all the, most of the police officers would assume that you're men.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But Leslie, what's your sentiment on this? You experienced that as well?
Yeah, a lot. It's quite uncomfortable. And sometimes, some women kind of back off riding a bit because of this, there's the catcalling.
Oh, yes.
There's matatus actually block you because you're a woman. They realize you're a woman. They block you and start, catcalling and all that. Sometimes men get on your bike without your permission.
They do? Oh, yes. Interesting.
And you're riding there. Yeah, so it can kind of spook you off a bit.
It's pretty much interesting how they get on your bike when you're riding. I'm trying to picture that.
Hooliganism, right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the people who that's why you're saying this is a whole societal problem.
Yeah.
Like people need to be empowered and understand what it is to respect other people, not necessarily just women, you know, to
Okay.
respect the whole gender, and mind your own business if it really has to get there.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, if I was a woman, like you said, some, you know, would, you know, take some steps back and not get on the road because of that kind of bias and stigma.
Yeah.
But you have gone a notch higher, and you ensure that now you make it very obvious
Visible, yes.
that you are a woman on the bike.
Yeah.
How did you get to this, and why did you do this to your helmet? I'm curious. I really am.
Right.
It's a ponytail, literally.
Yeah, actually, just what you said. It's for visibility as a female on the rider on the road. Also, it's a
for
fashion. It's a
safety.
fashion statement
It
as well.
Yeah.
As well, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, that's it. And for sure, most of the guys, oh, madam, you know, they'll always call you out. The border guys, the
Yeah.
private bikers,
Yeah.
they always call you out as soon as they see the ponytail.
Interesting.
And
What-
it even starts a conversation. So, okay, on the brighter side, it also starts, there's some good conversations that could go along. Like, hey, you're looking good. Like, you have all this gear. I mean, you seem to have, some people even assume that you have so much money that you can afford this
Yeah.
whole gear.
Yeah.
Why don't you just, you know, ride
Buy.
without, yeah.
or buy a
And-
car.
And exactly. And you even
Okay.
start that conversation with them. It's like, you know, that's when we start the safety conversation. We talk about, you know, the importance of putting on the full gear and, you know, ensuring that you're safe on the road. And also, you know, try to follow the road or the rules on the road.
Okay.
I mean, not riding on the left side of the vehicles, you know, also. So this can also, it's a conversation starter as well.
And I like that has also started our conversation, because I'm coming to hear from you your types of bikes and what rules and regulations must be followed, whether you are a man
Yes.
or a woman, because the society has had this idea of, you know, go easy on the women.
Yeah.
Or women like to ride in favor just because they're women. But we want to hear from you today how that is going. And of course, Bastuta Odhiambo is saying, remember to address measures on RSSD, especially on borders. We had that discussion earlier, and we want to hear, you know, when it comes to border riders, you interact with these guys. When you're on your bike, there is that prejudice, that bias. How is your experience with the border riders, besides the catcalling? And
They're actually pretty nice sometimes. When you're on the road, they escort you to where
Oh,
you're
they do?
going. Yeah, it's pretty. You guys kind of get in conversations, and you know, you advise them on, you know, gear and stuff. And most of them, they can't afford these things, so we started a support group, but for donating like helmets
Amazing.
and gear for them. So yeah.
so, I mean, men, are you listening this morning? The Inc. Sisterhood, which is women, started a sports, you know, club or group that actually donates these gears to you men. Now, in the contrary, we're seeing incidents like the one we're discussing where you are attacking a female motorist. And someone would ask, what would justify that level of assault, even if it was an accident, is a question we're asking this morning as well. Thank you very much, Bastuta Odhiambo, for that. Of course, Joyce Kimari is saying, my beloved brothers have shown the world that they have no regard for a woman who is probably their mothers. You know, that's what they have said. Wamuyu Kariuki here is saying, spot on. The perpetrators were borders, but the rest of us cannot be quiet. It is a responsibility for all Kenyans and both gender. Thank you, Nyargot Pam. You want to talk about the all genders thing?
Yes.
You know, because we're also asking, are there, you know, favors that come with you being on a bike as a woman? Are the authorities more lenient to you? Because that is something men have also pointed fingers at.
That's true. I mean, to a certain extent, like I've experienced it on traffic. Like you meet the traffic officer, then he realizes you're a lady, and he smiles at you, which we rarely get those kind of
the
smiles.
ears up.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, they usher you to, you know, move. You know, and if anything happens, I've heard from other lady bikers that they are supported quite easily. And just to add on what Leslie was saying, like in terms of the borders, you know, like there was a time I remember I was my bike was having issues on the road, and a border rider actually helped me because I slid off the road when it was raining.
Okay.
And one of the borders riders came to my rescue. So that's why I still emphasize on the bit of empowering the whole society. Because yes, we might say that we have you know, unruly border riders out here, but we also need to remember that there are those, you know, the other positive border riders who do, you know, something good on the other side.
Yeah, so really there's hooliganism,
Yes. Yeah.
but amongst them there are good people. But what really should be done, because this is year in, year out.
Yeah. Like the In Sisterhood, normally every year we have this safety campaign.
Okay.
And the safety campaign is, I mean, like we use our platforms. Like we have the Ink Sisterhood on YouTube, on Twitter, on IG. So we have this safety campaign messages that we use to, you know, to enlighten the whole society. And of course, even the media, as right now, you know. So really, this is something that we try to campaign, and we hope that the you know, other groups, even the, you know, like we have the other private bikers groups out there, they also advocate the same. Yeah. So it is something that has to continually be, you know, be said, you know.
And I like when you talk about saying, and today, of course, NTSA had just put up a post condemning. They put it up, of course, on the 7th. But a lot of people, you know, highlighted that particular, you know, talk and said, well, we need action. Where were you, and where are you when you guys have, you know, excess pillions, no gears? And I would love to hear from, you know, Leslie. Do you feel the authorities are doing enough? Because really, if you want to use a certain route and you can't because you're not sure what kind of attack might come on your bike, or who's going to jump on your bike, what do you think is really the solution this time? Because now it's gotten to blow up.
Honestly, at this point, I think we've exhausted the whole, you know, complaining and making it a statement that they're not doing enough. So maybe we should look for a different kind of approach. So yeah, I think that's
I think that's very honest. A lot of Kenyans now, I think, like you're feeling or like I'm feeling, they feel pretty helpless. Because I feel like there's been a lot of complaining. And as we're speaking, the women today, I'm hoping this information is very accurate, are having a peaceful procession condemning violence against women and girls in public and private spaces. And the routes will be from Green Park Terminus, I'm hoping that's correct, Haile Selassie Avenue to Inspector General's office. Now that is the 8th March march. Did you get that part? It's the 8th March march, and I'm thinking in Kenya that's going to be pretty much historical. But if you wanted to be part of this procession, remember it is peaceful and it's really timely when we're, of course, looking at the International Women's Day. It is also on your screen. My guests here are saying they're going to be joining that, you know, shortly in the course of the day. Allow me, because most people just want to understand, you know, your perspectives and the bias you're breaking. Because it is the borders on the limelight. And when we had the Bikers Empire last time, there were men. They said, there isn't much difference between the bikers and the borders. You're all on the twos, and you have to pretty much behave the same. So when this affects them, it affects, when you see a biker, a child doesn't know if you're a border or if you're a biker. And of course, Wamuyu Kariuki is saying there are many women commercial riders. Of course, checking out that Instagram page, you'll get that. Just follow that link. Nyargot saying ponytails are no longer just fashion accessories, but safety gadgets for female bikers. Do you want to add more on that?
Yes, that is why I said I started with it's used as it's a visibility item as well. You know, a safety visibility item. The same way we put on our reflectors. That is the same thing that we do with our ponytails. So yeah, she is right.
So you'd advise more women bikers to get a ponytail?
Yes, not necessarily a ponytail. Something that just identifies you as a female rider.
Amazing. Yeah. It's a road safety measure. Please let me know if that will help you. If it's a good idea, I would also love to commend you. I don't know where it came from, but
I bought it from Jumia. Nowhere.
Did you just give them airtime?
Exactly.
And of
Jumia,
course,
you better pay me.
Wow, she just said it a second. That's what she said. And of course, Kennedy Jumba Asirigwa is saying, I'm back watching from Buru Center, Likuyani Sub-County. I love Look Up TV. Thank you very much. And also share with us your thoughts on the bias that we experience on road safety, especially for the bikers and motorcyclists. Anki, that is, of course, Joyce Kimari again saying, please make sure we have the police boss on set. Okay.
That's
one of these days.
And that's why I kept saying that the law enforcement officers need to be involved in this. Because what happens is that the incident happens and then they follow. So where are they when that incident is taking place? So they need to be there. Even when the incident is happening, they need to curb it. They need to curb this unruly, road rage or, the issues that are happening on the road.
Someone asked that on Twitter, I don't know if
Yeah.
you followed, and it said, don't tell us what you're yet to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Where are you?
Just do it. It's your job. Do it. If you wake up in the morning, you need to enforce the laws, then just do it. Don't wait for incidents to happen for you to enforce the rules. The rules.
Okay.
And
of course, she's saying, oh, by the way, in South Africa, women bikers are respected and envied because they are valued.
South Africa.
Of course. And you're saying one thing I must say is that some of the women bikers here started riding when at school. This is because some of them used scooters at school and they graduated to bikers. My beloved brothers, let's share the road. Leslie, when did you start? You said when you were 20. But you have young girls who say, no, not when you're 20, in 2021, pardon me, or 2020. Yeah. And don't you have young girls who say, I want to try your bike, I want to be on your bike? Yeah. Or do you have the ones who are afraid, who say, well, this is a bit of a stronger machine? What is the kind of interaction you have with the younger generation when it comes to biking?
All of the two. Some are afraid, some are not. But I'm really glad that I make this impact on them, and they feel like they can do anything, not just biking. You can be anyone they want to be, and that's really encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the young girls.
Yeah.
Because I know growing up, you'd see more men on the bike.
True.
So you think, well, this is a man thing.
Yeah.
So it's good to see you guys actually, break that bias, break,
sure.
that, stereotype. Yeah. And of course, Nelly Andrews, feel free to, comment on most of these comments because they are for you.
Okay.
And also be part of the conversation. We're about to close it, but just, send in your comments and your concerns. And Nelly Andrews is saying, time and time again, we have witnessed gross violation of human rights of women. All right? Sure. This is unacceptable. Women need to feel safe. I'm enjoying the conversation. Amazing ladies on set. I'm almost convinced to purchase my bike. That brings me to the question. What type of bike is your preference and why you chose it? And then I'll come to you, Leslie.
Okay. I would say when I was a new biker, I just wanted a bike that is simple and to ride and, convenient. So I went for the Zontes 200J. Yeah, so it's fuel efficient. I can ride on and off the road. It can take me places. It has taken me to Malindi, to Diani. Yes.
So you ride that far?
Yes.
Alone?
With the groups.
Yes. That's amazing. What's your choice? We saw you do stunts, and of course you might see them as well as they, ride out. But which is your style? I saw it, the cruiser.
Yeah, it's a cruiser. It's a Kiwi K-Lite, so. Why I chose it, I don't know. Some of my friends had the cruisers, so like,
whoa,
and so I couldn't reach that far, so I got a bit of a lower one. Yeah, and it's good. I've ridden up to Mbere and back alone.
Alone, you felt safe.
Cool. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel after the incident? Do you feel you can try that alone again? Yeah, because accidents happen.
Yeah, they do.
And we've been asking, not forgetting that, of course, I'm a host, but allow me to, join the crew. And it's hard to be neutral as a host when this is actually International Women's Day and a woman was assaulted. And I was looking at, we've seen border riders really behave like this when they're hit. But we've been wondering, have they really stripped naked a male motorist? It would be a question that might need to be answered. So we're just having the conversation around it, and I think you guys, your choices of bikes are really amazing. What are the rules and regulations? Someone would say, oh, you guys are just smiled at by the traffic police.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Yeah. I mean, as we said earlier, we advocate for safety.
Yes.
So even for you to join the Inked Sisterhood, you have to have an endorsed driving license. You have to have full gear. You have to have what else?
Training.
Yeah, training. You need to be trained.
Yeah.
And we were trained. Most of us were trained by the Inked trainers, because they also, they follow the rules and regulations strictly. Okay. So yes, you need to follow the road safety guidelines as per, just the same way as other motorists.
Okay.
Like for you to be on there, you have to have insurance on your bike. Yeah, it has to be certified, so that in case of anything, because we also have what is called nyumba kumi.
Okay.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
with the bikers?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Like where you're living, you could join a nyumba kumi, so that we can support each other as private bikers within this certain area. So if you're
Right.
living in Kilimani, then you join the Kilimani bikers, and we support each other. Also, even for you to join those groups, you have to have all that. You have to have full gear, endorsed driving license, insurance. Your bike needs to be in order, and in case of anything, we support each other.
When you talk about your bike has to be in order, which of
Yeah.
course I picked,
Yeah.
I'm taking it very seriously, your bike has to be in
Yeah.
order. Can you, if your bike, had an issue right now, right by the side of the road, now this is just, lazily, and then
Yeah.
can you be able to handle it? Do you have to call a mechanic? Are there things you can do? Do you have a relationship with your bike?
Yes, so right after I did my training personally, and I got my bike, I went back to do the how to fix your bike and everything. It was like an hour's training, so I feel like I have the basics of kind of fixing it, and so yeah, if not, I'd call a mechanic, or that's it.
Yeah, I'm asking this because there was an issue of con mechanics as well, where they target vulnerable people on the roads, and we, as we can see, have been quite vulnerable.
Yes.
Even in the Constitution,
Yeah.
the woman is looked at one of those, people you put aside with the children as the vulnerable part of society. So if you put your bike aside and the men are not.
That's where the nyumba
Yeah.
kumi comes in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I could call in one of my, or rather, I could just send a message, an
In the
SOS
group,
message
yeah.
in the group,
Oh,
and they
amazing.
would,
And
they
you
would
get
always,
Sure.
I
come
think
to
I
our
like
rescue.
I like the conversation, and we're looking at incident where a lady has the same, repeat an accident. How do they reach out? What do they do? I'd love to hear that from an expert, and I'd also love to hear from you. I know it's a very open question.
Yes.
If you were in her situation, what would be the first thing? Was she to lock her doors? Was she to, we're trying to figure out what if someone is going to go through that this very minute. We're coming to that as we close. And of course, Joyce Kimari is saying, I will join the march in solidarity by wearing black. I got the right outfit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys get the memo?
Maybe we didn't get the memo,
Not
but we
really,
have some
but now
black
we-
somewhere.
You have some black somewhere. So I'm looking at the situation if I was in that car and I was that lady. Because people said, "Hata nyi vaeni vizuri." No, you should have seen those comments. I don't know if you have some of them
as we said,
sampled.
it was just appalling to even look at those messages. And for me
Okay.
personally, I even couldn't stand the video because I knew that I would not even come to this show today, honestly. Yeah, it really took a lot of courage to do that because it is painful to imagine what she went through because we put ourselves in her shoe.
All right, that moment right there, because that was for sure some comments that came in, women should learn to dress properly. So in her situation, having learned a few things on the road here and there, what would have been the first tactic for that lady? Because she pulled over. I don't know if she was stopped or she actually pulled over.
Yes.
She had a lot
Because
of
are we trying to
options.
say hit, run, drive away?
Yeah, she chose not to because she could have backed up and run over them and then escape, but she didn't. Yeah,
Maybe this is a calling to us to actually, when such an incident occurs, don't pull over. Go to the nearest police station because now she pulled over.
Yeah, she did all the
and
right
she
things.
did what is expected to be done. But now we all know that it is risky to pull over. So probably just go to the nearest police station and report immediately. Because if you stop there, you are at risk. Let's be honest.
Okay.
We are at risk. We've just seen it. I can't imagine me being stripped and assaulted and, violently assaulted. It's just wrong.
Because we're having that video on air this very minute, we can hardly even air it as raw as it was. We have to censor it. But for those who did not get it or missed out, this is at Forest Road. I don't think this is near any slums because people have said those are ghettos. I don't think this is near anywhere where we would suspect that it would, escalate to this. But that's a number of men. They're not even wearing gear. So for some reason, I've been asking, are they really border riders to start with? Are they members of the public? Because people are now taking advantage of, this is what happens in this zone. So everyone took an advantage of that situation because really, still, they were men. So we are just having this conversation, and of course people are still talking here. Wamu is saying lack of implementation and enforcement of the law hurts from a child going to school, like you said, pedestrians, drivers, to those in government, and us riders, because Wamu is also Mamanduthi, good morning, who are now being harassed as a blanket. Last night, arrests include riders who were compliant with all documents,
Yes.
who were compliant with all documents.
One of them was actually in my nyumba kumi. Yeah, he was arrested, you know, and he was not even part and parcel of it. So that also puts us private bikers at risk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And that's really good to hear from you. I hope the authorities are watching as well.
I hope so, because they need to differentiate between borders and private bikers.
And maybe you're going to help us shed light on that even as we
Yes.
close. And she's saying that does not send a good message to the public coming from law enforcers. Road safety is a right for everyone. So how do we distinguish between a biker, private biker, and a border rider?
It is
Because-
also very difficult
Yes.
to do so, but I would say most private bikers, actually, we do follow the road safety regulations in terms of
Most.
having the, you know, our driving license in order, our insurance, our bikes are insured, you know, endorsed driving license to be precise. Like we really try to follow the rules, the road safety regulations.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate that most of the border riders don't. And we see it openly. Like you just said, you're not able to differentiate if that was
Yes.
a border or just you know, a bystander. So that's the reason why as private bikers, we try as much as possible to be united and to strictly follow the rules and regulations of the, you know, the safety, the road safety rules
Yeah,
and
yes,
regulations.
yes.
Yeah, as expected. So that even if the police officer is, pulls me over, you know, I know that I'm comfortable. You know, I'm not worried. I'm not going to run. I know that my driving license is okay.
You're on the right side of the law.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that's why you will find most private bikers, all their stuff are in
I'm
order.
trying to figure out how this biker was arrested.
Yes,
You know, and
because
he
he
was
said it. He
compliant.
just said that. Even he mentioned this. He said, "I have everything, but just because I was passing through the road, I think he was passing
The incident?
Yes,
Forest Road?
yes, I think so.
Yes.
And then he was arrested.
Okay.
Because now they're just arresting
Anyone who's
any
any
motorbike
bike,
rider.
All right, and of course, Joyce Kimari is responding to the comments that were saying the woman should have dressed properly. It comes out a bit hilarious because it is something we did then, and I don't know if you would agree or disagree with her, but this is her remark: my dress, my choice.
Totally agree with her. Yeah. Yes.
You agree?
Yeah.
All right, because this was, you know, we had incidents of assaults in matatus, remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or on the streets,
Yes.
about the same dress
Yeah.
code.
Just-
And now when this incident came up again in her own car, then it was again my dress, you know,
And
my
that's why I
choice
say
issue.
now this is when we are judging people because of how they look, how they dress, and it's so wrong because we need to enjoy our freedom.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you don't need to be judged because of the way you dress
Or your gender.
or your gender, and,
Alright.
and that's what I'm saying. We just need to style up. We just need to understand how to live in a civilized manner, for lack of a better word.
All right.
Let's just respect one another and not look at each other and judge each other just because of, you know, how we look, how we dress. That is not important. The important thing is, are you respecting my safety? Am I respecting your safety? Not, don't judge me by my gender. That doesn't matter.
Also, that sense of entitlement need to stop.
Exactly.
So men have a sense of entitlement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the roads.
Yeah.
We've continued to say, let's share the roads, let's be respectful on the roads, and that's where we're talking about breaking the bias. So either gender should be able to respect all the road users.
True.
You're bold to be bikers this morning, and having, you know, beat a lot of stigmatization, still talking about the awareness, hats off. And of course, you know, people are talking about we are pushing for life imprisonment, if not punishable by death.
True.
For the perpetrators. Now, that's how enraged people are. That's the
Yes.
kind of uproar on social media. We'll be following closely the peaceful protest because a lot of women have declared, including one, Fiona, who was very vocal in the group last night, saying, well, I am boldly probably not coming to work this morning because I'm getting too much with the rest of the women. Ladies, I know it's about that time where we wrap up the Arrival Live discussion. But I'll also allow you to, easen up a little bit and shout out a few women that you're celebrating today. I know you didn't think of it. You might not have to call everyone else. They might be mad if you miss out, but you can fight about that later.
Okay.
Maybe someone you want to shout out, and as you do that, you can give your closing remarks on breaking the bias in the motorcycle world. So we'll start with you, Leslie. Give a shout out and also your closing remarks. Very, strong or subtle remarks as we close.
Yeah, sure. Shout out to Pili Pili and Lebo. You guys are awesome. Oh, and Munyenye. And my closing remark has to be, let's respect each other, and just find ways in where we can just take measures that are, secure and non-violent in dealing with situations such as the one we had the other day. So yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, so maybe our responses, the reactions to the situations need to be a bit logical, reasonable, and respectful. Thank you for that. Yeah. And I just got, Pili Pili from your shout out. My goodness, I want to figure out if it's a real name or a nickname. And your turn, Pam.
All right. A big shout out to my husband. It's his birthday today.
Amazing.
And he supports women. He was born in a family of women. He's the only man. So a big shout out to him because he was also appalled by the incident yesterday. And to my mother, who also empowered me growing up because she's awesome. Yeah, other mothers would not support, daughters riding bicycles. I started riding my bicycle from when I was very young, and she just didn't care. She's like, she'd dress me up in shorts and trousers because she just realized that,
Amazing.
what? Yeah, as a woman, you just need to enjoy yourself as long as you're taking care of yourself. And also to my workmates who are also celebrating the International Women's Day today, and every other woman out there who is supporting the other woman, because at times we don't support each other as women. So let's be honest.
They say that a lot, that we are our own enemies.
So we women, I just give a big shout to all the women who support each other out there. The Ink Sisterhood group, we support each other, of course, and every other woman out there. And of course, my closing remarks is let's share the rod. Let's respect one another despite the gender. Let's support each other, and let's also, as we ride, as we drive, as we walk on the streets, let's remember that the road safety is dire. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, like every other viewer, I know we're closing, but you have this scarves. Or is it bandanas, whatever it is? What are they for? Are they gears or just cool? Oh, you can
balaclavas.
Can you wear them?
Yes.
Can you wear them so you see
yes. I don't wear them.
You're not gonna do that?
I have a small face. I look like I'm wearing a
Oh, so that's what you do?
So when I put on the helmet, because of the oils and everything, it kind of protects the helmet.
And the dust.
And the dust.
Yeah.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought of it that way. I think it's so cool that you have actually shown it, and you chose the Kenyan flag. How amazing.
Yes, I'm very patriotic.
You are. I am so proud of you guys. And of course, Wamu Karaoke is doing a summary here, saying what one needs to use a motor vehicle on a public roads, training which is supported by a licensed, a roadworthy vehicle, a bike that is also properly insured, personal protective gear for a biker, and this is so not too much to enforce. Those who are doing the wrong things as riders without the above also make it hard for the authorities to trace them. And I totally appreciate your feedback and all of you guys who have shown the love today. Remember, some people are now torn apart. Do we celebrate? What is there to celebrate? All right? And as we're celebrating, how many of us are at risk of violence and assault and gender-based violence? What next is the question. Meet you guys at the marching squad.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Solidarity forever.
And happy birthday to you for being a great man standing and supporting your woman through this amazing journey. That's it for the Arrive Alive segment. Remember, road safety is a message of love. And because we love you, # The Morning Drift presents you this every single day. I take a short breather and I come in with a very, very deep, appropriate, and timely conversation on what is alcoholism. We'll be right back.